This program was first broadcast on Canterbury's access media station, Plains FM, and was made with the assistance of New Zealand On Air.
Now it's time for Spiritual Learning with Priestess Lilly.
Welcome to my radio show, Priestess Lilly, Sacred Heart Healer, Space Holder, and Spiritual Life Coach. Hi, I'm Priestess Lilly. Welcome. This radio show podcast I have created to help assist humanity rise the consciousness through connection and holding space for thought-activating conversations with heart-centered leaders, wisdom keepers, and divine humans expanding into their authenticity and soul purpose. Today's podcast is big, full of purpose, divine intent, and my own channeled work into this world. Hoping and knowing she will be received as the medicine she is needed right now for us to heal. This podcast has been rising in me for months. I could feel her energy in my wound space, swirling, stirring, and rising. As much as I've resisted to connect, I knew to fully ground into her message and carry her weight into this world and bring her potentness, her voice. This message needs to be heard. And in my hearts of all hearts, the masses, the collective energy is not ready for her message today. And I was not sure I could carry her wisdom, communicate the depth of her knowing through. My own fear was approaching like the cloud of forbidden truth. I could feel and sense her around me. My throat chakra was becoming tight and restless. But still, it needs to be heard. Received in the context and connection she came through. Have you ever watched that movie, Human Activation? Oh my God, you so should watch this movie. It's this movie where it's set in modern times. Humanity is faced with decisions that many people choose to rise in a space of fear and collectively are ruled by the narrative of feeling so powerless, unsafe, fearful, lack of resources, disconnected from compassion, themselves and their own inner knowing. Systems are breaking down around them, leaving many people vulnerable, angry, hurt, and in pain. Many people will suffer and leave this earth's plane through isolation, mental well-being, and illness. Then the dance starts and is on us, right from wrong, rich and poor, me and we, left and right, red and blue, black and white, pro and vac, disconnected from the true essence of life. Does this narrative sound familiar? And like any Hollywood blockbuster, the hero steps forward, as we are all in the waiting room, waiting on the hero, the leader to show up and fix this mess. That knight in shining prince, that superhero that flies through the sky, the savior that comes in and saves humanity in the darkest hour from the self-destruction, the confusion that's happening around him, that deflects the faces of danger, setting the course of what we know back to normal. Well, I'm here to break this illusion as the superhero that flies through the sky, that rides on a horse, that comes on a ship. They're not coming. You need to be your own hero. You need to have your own brave courage and strength to go within. For the last year, I've been saying, now is the time. Now is the time to do your work. And if you never got that message, listen to me now. No one is coming to save you. The world as we know it isn't going back to normal. All of this outside noise is a distraction from you stepping in and doing your work. The world and the global events happening around us right now is unsettling, unnerving. Yes, I totally agree. Many of us feel unsafe, powerless, losing hope in the current situation and can't see through the storm. And while we are all trapped in fear, we are all in contracted energy, unable to see what our next step is, unable to move through change. We feel powerless in the void, powerless in the narrative. We are in a current state of the cycle of death and rebirth as humanity is being called to a higher consciousness, and many of us are resisting the change of growth and transformation from within our own souls. We as a species and as the collective are going through a personal and collective transformation, and there are many more ways to come. So make peace with it, with yourself, and stop resisting what you're feeling, your work, your shadow self. As in order to embody your personal change, you need to ask yourself, why am I here right now on this earth plane? Is you, dear one, signed up for this? Who am I? When I ask, who am I? Not your physical life outside of yourself, your belongings. Who are you as a divine human having a spiritual experience? We are being called into a soul light, our purpose. And in order for us to rise our consciousness through a deeper aligned connection, we need to heal all that we are running from. Having a deeper conversation with the self. And guess what? You might not like what you're about to hear. But in order to expand, heal, and integrate into this new earth, this is our work now. My true safety lies in the capability to align with love of the universe, to align with self. There are two parallel worlds at work at present. The 3D consciousness that is ruled by fear, separation, patriarchy, old structures and systems that will not serve this new consciousness that is rising on the collective. The 3D consciousness is all about me, 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 me. And the 5D consciousness is about expansive energy, has a greater connection and awareness and consciousness of energy shifts on our planet and advancements in our spiritual bodies, humanity, love, and compassion. And it's all about we. I don't have to fear my fear. I can use it as a way of getting closer to love. In order for us to transform into a higher consciousness, our soul needs to rise. And this is through doing our own individual work, coming from a place of love. 2020, humanity's global activation shift was a greater opening to look at how we live, what's aligned with us, our core values, how we wish to live, what we need to heal in order to move forward. Yes, we all feel like we're in a crisis. Yes, we are all suffering and grieving and in loss. And yes, we will not be returning. We are being called to become aware of a higher vibration of spiritual knowing, and knowing starts with having a greater conversation with self. This is why it is so important to stay true to your path. As more and more in the world, society, our country are going to see an old guard shift, old ways, systems and structures start to buckle under the pressure of the collective vibration and start to be dismantled. So let's talk about this. You know, it's already at play. The health system is stretched. Nurses, doctors are run down. Before this pandemic, it was what we knew to be true. We're going to see a rise in alternative medicine, alternative health, and the way that we take ownership of and responsibility for our own health as a whole, spiritually, mentally, physically, and emotionally. As we enter this new 5D paradigm, holistic health centers and wellness centers is going to expand into a new vibration. Equality, fair pay, equal rights for all, a new way of being in and out of the system. Housing, banking, money. The vibration of money is also going to change as we integrate into this new paradigm over the next 2 to 3 years. Farming. We are going to see farming change to be reformed. And here in New Zealand, we do not want to be the producers of some of the best products in the world, but not the consumers, and own the land. Business. The way we show up and do business is changing. That change has been really, really, really profound as we have moved in and out of the alert systems. We are starting to be called to shop local, purchase New Zealand made, Businesses are really going to start to activate and start to take on a more social collective of coming together and collaborating with like-minded business souls. There's going to be a real heartfelt intention of supporting local charities, social enterprises, our communities within business. For the last 7 years, Spirit's been telling me we need to become more resilient as individuals, communities, and our country. I don't want this podcast today to feel all doom and gloom, as we have the power to change our own outcome and become more aware. Fear at the moment is winning in humanity. But when we step and feel into love, love is always the highest consciousness vibration. To come deeply from a place of love, what the hell needs to change? Everything. But let's just start with this. Our view and ideals and beliefs on humanity, compassion, heart sovereignty, and integration. This is our work to rise our vibration. So please, 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 if you don't take anything, remember anything from this podcast, please remember this. Brené Brown's definition she uses for the word compassion: recognizing the light and dark in a shared humanity. We commit to practicing loving kindness with ourselves and others in the face of suffering. This is the struggle with compassion. Compassion is a default response, because in order to practice compassion, you have to be able to recognize the darkness in you and in other people. Self-compassion. What darkness lies within you that needs to be healed or looked at? Knowing your darkness well enough, then you can sit in the darkness with others without trying to rescue them, fix them, or turn on their lights. I see you in your suffering. I witness you in your pain. This is your work. To be a human is to walk with self through shadow self into our darkness. To stop and sit in those feelings without trying to push down, turn off. Facing the darkness and leaning into that pain in order to dismantle and step into the light. We need to lean into the healing. I'm sorry to say, it's not a magic pill. It's not how it's been sold to us for the past 20 years in self-help books. It's having a deeper conversation from a place of self-compassion and asking more from your soul self, your inner self, in order to heal. This work, I can't do for you. A healer can't do for you. A doctor can't do for you. Your partner can't do for you. A lover can't do for you. you need to give yourself this gift, as this gift is freedom. We can hold space for you, activate the deeper questioning, but it's you, the hero, that will lead you to safer shores. And our shadow work is never healed. And yep, once you've done that piece of work and moved on, it's always an evolving, continuing piece of work as it flows deeper and deeper into another layer of self. It's our story. And in order to change or heal our story, we must look within. As I say in most readings, same, but the story might look different. And for myself, I will be working through my shadow self until my last breath. Heart sovereignty. I spoke about this at the start of this year. When we step into our heart center, rather than our head, we start to co-create a different conversation with ourselves. Our heart holds the keys to awaken our soul. So many of us are doing life rather than living an aligned life. And that's because we're living life according to someone else's rule book. What we think we need to be in order to be recognized in this world, rather than who we are. We are living by our parents, partners, bosses' conditioning, rather that serves them in this lifetime, but it may not be serving us. And as we transition into this new paradigm world, what needs to change for you in order to live more in your heart, in order for your life to flow? Integration. This is the hard piece, as our soul, emotionally, spiritually, mental body will be the first to align, and our physical body will be the last to integrate the last piece of work. For what we desire to physically show in the world as a tangible seeing, physical touching will take time. And this is where it comes from, a place of trust. An example. So when we go to lose weight, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, we're on board. Our last thing to align is the physical body, the shedding of the weight. We do all of our spiritual, emotional, physical stuff. Our last body to align is, our chakras. We start to get a headache. We start to get cold. We normally get sick before we really, truly embody the work, the knowing, the depth of letting go of our work. It's our physical body that's the last to align, and we need to integrate all of those bodies into one. Have you ever read the book Think and Grow Rich? There are so many examples of integration. It takes the universe time to co-create our desires into physical form, and we live in a world of instant gratification. And spirituality in our work doesn't work like this, as we need to show up for ourselves. It's a continuation of showing up for yourself every day. People say I'm lucky, and yes, I am, as I learned pretty quick that doing my work and actioning it brings through my desires at a very quick pace. But it's not easy. It's challenging as hell, and it's hard. And quite often, I don't like what I'm being told. I consistently resist it. and then I surrender. And I make myself daily step into brave action. I made a promise to myself. In order for me to show up and hold space for my clients, I must do my own work. I must live authentically aligned with my soul. And the more I keep doing it, I've embodied the work. I've embodied the integration. Because I haven't got time to fluff around the edges anymore, compare myself to others, worry about what everyone else is doing as a distraction from what I'm here to do. I must show up. As an awakening priestess, I am here to activate greater awakening for the collective. And that involves me activating uncomfortable as hell conversations in order to heal and rise the collective vibration. If people choose not to see it, not to hear my messages, it's not their time. Intent plus desire plus your work equals integration, manifestation. There's some spell work for you. How can we make this transition easier on ourselves? Oh my God, I've been feeling into this one. Sense of belonging, purpose, compassion, acceptance, insight, perspective, a sense of belonging. Right now, as we know it, the world is changing, and our sense of belonging has changed with it. Where we could meet one-on-one, in groups, in our communities, in our families, we now don't know where we belong. We now don't know our place and space in this world. We are being encouraging us to be ourselves instead of trying to change in order to fit in. Purpose. For many of us, our purposes in life would have changed. As things, jobs, being money, relationships, this was all giving us a sense of purpose before. It may not now. And you know what? That's okay. As we are evolving as a human species, so will our purpose be. Don't be afraid to ask yourself, what is my purpose? What is my soul work? Perspective. A spiritual practice helps us to find meaning and purpose. This could look like journaling, creation, meditating, being in nature, creating a soul space and connection in your home. Compassion. Ask yourself this question. Are we doing the best we can? Am I doing the best I can? Helps us cultivate and have faith in our shared humanity experience. As we have entered a place and space of the great divide, which breaks my heart, as separation keeps us in fear, keeps us trapped, we need to learn the act of lovingly respecting those around us, lovingly disagreeing with people and holding space for them. Acceptance. Having a spiritual understanding of the cycle of death and rebirth. And remembering we are all here for our own inner journey, our own spiritual awakening. Some of us will take longer to awaken, and that's completely okay. It's our place to hold that space for them, not to fix them, not to rescue them, to lovingly accept where they're at. Insight. Our innate knowing. Learning to tap into your innate knowing and trusting all that she is. So let's do a healing process. Sit quietly with your eyes closed, taking a deep breath in and out, placing both hands on your heart center. Imagine that you can journey within your heart on a breath, riding it like a wave. As you breathe in, the wave comes in. As you enter into the heart, you become more aware of how endless the space is within your heart. It is dark, open, peaceful, supportive, and empty. There is a sense that it extends endlessly. This peaceful, empty space filled with love and presence above you and below you, of comfort. And before you and behind you, you feel safe. And to the left of you and to the right of you, feel how it is internal, flowing with love, peace, comfort, compassion. That it does not have any place of fear, force, or fight, control, or restriction. It is always there. Imagine how struggle or issue being released into the darkness, consumed by it as it ceases to exist. The bliss that you feel, the recognition as it opens your heart and allows yourself to be held in a space that is spiritually opening and expanding and allowing to be fed. And as you feel comfort in this space and place, please allow me to give you this gift as you are open to receive. Divine Yin Empress, Great Mother of Compassion, Kuan Yin, peace, grace, light, and feminine power. Infuse your being with my heart now. May I be a vessel of grace and healing of the divine feminine. May I live my soul truth on this planet. May fear and anger be softened with love and dissolve around me. May I find the true nature of my spiritual power, and may I align with you, beloved, into eternal grace of divine love. May my devotion to myself and her wish for all beings to be spiritually free rose in my heart now. May I receive your love and protection and allow myself to evolve into the new vibration of compassion. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Just taking a deep breath in and witnessing how energetically you feel, allowing whatever needs to be processed to let go of, and just witnessing you as you deepen and accept this mission to awaken into a deeper sense of soul and sacred practice with self. Then when your own time, when you're ready, coming back to full circle of self with one. Om Mani Padme Hum. And so it is. Most times when I do come to do a deeper conversation with myself, an activation, I always pull myself a card. And that card comes from a range of my different decks. And that is the grounding card of the message that I want to bring through to the collective. Today, I pulled the Kanye Oracle deck by Alana Fairchild. And it's the Yin Empress. I'm going to read for you the message. You are a spiritual leader and pioneer, and part of what you are here to do for the planet on a soul level, whether you are a man or a woman, is to empower the divine feminine, the cosmic empress of Yin, or divine feminine energy, so that we might live in a more balance as a species on this earth. The divine feminine is only now making her surgence on this planet, and many do not understand her. Your sacred task, for which you will be truly enriched, supported, nourished, and rewarded, is to help live her truth now. In doing so, you are planting the seeds of awareness and experiences for others to draw from when they are ready to live in their sacred truth. This will explain why at times you feel you do not fit in the current culture. You are not meant to, because you are meant to help it to grow and change. In the same way, the beloved Kuan Yin has rebellion and compassion streak and did not fit into the world in the way that it was, because she was born to help it heal and ascend. So does your soul yearn to make a real difference in this world, to help it be free of the fear that leads to competition, domination, power struggles, and instead to live from a place of love and inner peace. The gift of the Yin Empress experiences through your feminine power, which is to access through living in your heart's truth, your genuine values, and your feisty gentleness. Femininity is not a weakness, nor it is aggressive. It is a feisty compassion that refuses to descend into judgment and if it does, rise again to compassion over and over and over again. Men and women in touch with their feminine powers are able to love, have compassion, to be truthful, and to honor what really matters to them, whether it fits with the contemporary cultural values or not. They realize that they are helping to create a new culture with wiser values. Living in this way not only feels better, but more aligned with truth. It also leads to a successful life with much creativity, passion, collaboration, personal empowerment, and satisfying relationships. Not to mention inspiration for others to draw from so that they may truly grow. You are being asked to live in your feminine power now, to be true to who you are and not giving in to the social conditioning that tells you feminine power is not enough, that you must compromise your values, your beliefs, or your compassion to get ahead, to come up out on top. You do have to live the way you are being empowered to live from your heart, and realize that this is not only enough, it is the blessing for all. The Yin Empress thanks you for your loving devotion and service to her. Blessings upon blessings now, beloved. Powerful, simply powerful. So that being said, rise strong, beloved. As individuals and as a collective, we need to become comfortable to heal. We need to become uncomfortable to become comfortable with our soul's work. And ask yourself, how much more uncomfortable do you need to get in order to step in and show up for yourself, to be your own hero? As that is your question. In order to bring change, you need to go within. Thank you for the divine blessing. I have a sacred offering. Catherine Hawker and I do, who is a phenomenal healer. Expand into your sacred self. It is a 2-day retreat workshop, the 25th and 26th of September in Southern Lights, Akaroa. Cost $450. There's limited spaces. I think there's 4 spaces left. Are you ready to do your work, but don't know what it looks like or where to start? Catherine and myself together will hold space for you to take the step to journey within your sacred self, to see, witness, and look at who you are, why you're here at this time on earth. Deepen into your fears and triggers and leave with a deeper understanding of self. This retreat is a 2-day workshop of where you will have the ability to cut through your own bullshit, be cracked open, and surrendered more to the alchemy of your life. If you're ready to be cracked open, wide open, and create space for your soul to enter more fully, then this is for you. As when we surrender and look at our own fears, blockages, and triggers, this is when we allow more light to shine through and step closer to our own alchemy of life. Catherine and I will hold that space for deep cellular healing to occur physically, emotionally, and spiritually through this work and the light activation process. Much love, divine humans. Go with peace.